Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. We're doing, one of our sparingly toy reviews today. Well, before I reveal what we're doing, first off, I'd like to say I ordered this from Nerdzoic. He's got a YouTube channel, Big Nerdy. Look at this packaging done. Look at this. The nice air package, taped up, and boom, and there's what we got today. The Mafex Crusader Batman from the Knightfall series. But I just wanted to give a shout out to Nerdzoic for just how great they package this figure. It's an expensive figure, so having good packaging for it makes you feel good as a consumer. So just a shout out to Nerdzoic, not sponsored by them or anything like that. Just I appreciated the packaging. So boom, here we go. The last figure I needed that they've made so far for the Knightfall series. I got the original Asbat figure, then I got Bane, and then this bad boy came out. I pre-ordered it from Amazon, got a pretty good deal on the pre-order, and then they canceled the pre-order, and when after they canceled my pre-order, it sold out everywhere. And luckily Mafex has done a reissue, so I got the reissue of the Mafex one. I'm excited to have this because this is kind of like this is like my Batman. This is my favorite version of the comic book Batman. Jim Lee's or Todd McFarlane's comes in a close second, but this like Denny O'Neil style that they did in the like late 80s and early 90s, mid 90s kind of thing like that. I always dug this style for Batman. So we got the front window. We've got the 3 different Batman heads. We got a bunch of hands. We got a Batarang. We got Batman here. The old classic Batman logo from the time, Side, we got the shoulder pad Batman with there. Other side, just Batman posing. And in the back, we got a couple different poses for Batman. Shows all the heads. No, wrong side. Mafex right there. And in fact, we've got the little hologram sticker that shows this is Mafex. More hologram legalese and stuff on the bottom. But yeah, let's crack this figure open. It has been a long time coming for me for this one. As any viewer of the channel knows, I'm not that big into action figures every once in a while, but I do like to get some of them every once in a while. Alright, let's get this bad boy out of the package. Whoop. And it fell on the floor, but what you always get with your Mafex figures, you always get the nice little stand. I always appreciate that because they're nice and clean and everything. So, got a couple different things here. First and foremost, we'll get this cape out. This is just your standard Batman cape, and it's got the neck cowl and everything like that. Look at that. I love the Mafex capes. They're wired, they're posable. You can kind of do anything you want with them. Check out my Instagram at Nintendad, something like that. It's in the main page of it. Actually, it's in the description below. I'll post photos. I'm gonna do some photos with this one, the Asbat, Bane, everything like that. Do some cool photos, and you'll see some post cape. But yeah, the Instagram is in the description below. So let's get Batman out. We'll look at all the different pieces. Hopefully, we can open this without all the fists flying everywhere. Okay. So far, so good. There we go. All right. To me, so this one, and I'm rereading Knightfall, Night Quest, and Night's End, just kind of coincidentally to this actually coming out. And I always thought this was a peculiar head to include. The underwater breathe strip Batman mask. Like, who is gonna use this head on their figures? Like, maybe for like one picture, but man, I would have really preferred like another like from the, if you remember the comics, the covers, the super long bat ears. I'd have much preferred like a neutral face for this sculpt instead of this. We could get 2 extra long ears. Man, though, I would be fearful of those breaking, like falling off your shelf, breaking. So those are those ones, and then of course we've got neutral face in there. We'll pull that in a second. But here's your Batarang, and much like Azrael's, his little shooter things, it's a wire, so you can pose that any which way you want. And of course we got another cowl piece. This is for the underwater swimming with, or just any pose without the cape. And of course we got a bunch of hands. And I do love how, you know, Medicom Mafex gives you these little like hangers to put them on, but here too, like almost C grip hands. And then we've got 2 wide splayed hands, karate chop or swimming hands to go with your breathe, right? And what would a Batman figure be without punching fists? These are kind of like C grip, almost like trigger finger hands, but you know, it's Batman, so he ain't shooting a gun, that's for sure. And then of course, here is the Batman. I'm gonna have to get that. I'm not gonna do it now, but I gotta take the torso off to get the little plastic there. But this, he's got the little pointy cows. This is more from the covers or from some sort of like trying to get some sort of dynamic pose. Because if you read those 90 comics with those cover arts, there would be cowls with the spiky shoulders, which not something that he like you really saw him drawn in the comics, but on the cover you did. And that cape, look at that, with that wire cape split. Oh, this one's kind of falling down. Let me see if I can get it up there. Oh, well, we'll work with that. But look at that cape. You could have this Batman just soaring in. Look at that, just soaring in, taking out Gotham's thugs. But yeah, no, like we've got I can't think of what these are called. Just the little spines on the gloves. I love that. That looks so good. On there, just with the long ones right there. And of course, let's check out the double knees. Can he kick his own butt? Not quite. Not quite his own butt kicking with the double knees. But still good range of motion with those double knees right there. And of course, we got the hinge on the ankle. We got some toe hinge, but there we go. I was like, they're kind of tight. I'm always kind of like, you know, for these with the stands, I'm not that bad on the toe hinge. The Toy Biz Marvel Legend figures always kind of made me iffy on them because they'd get really loose. But, you know, he's got the butterfly right there at the shoulders. Go all the way up. Double elbow. I just love the joints on the Mafex too. These Mafex are just really good figures. Then you, of course, got the yellow utility belt, blue underwear, yellow bat symbol right there, putting up his dukes. And of course, let me see if we can like cover him with his cape. Oh yeah, look at that nice brooding Batman cover right there. And of course, the heads all pop off easily. You got the little dumbbell joint in there, so you can put on your different heads. Yes, I'm really careful about these ears. But like right there. See, like these spiky shoulder pads go with these ears better because that's more of the cover art. And I've kind of got to like figure out how I want to display these. Like, do I want to display him like he was on the covers with the big ears, or do I want to go more classic, neutral, brooding Batman head? That's going to be one of those things that, you know, I just got to kind of figure out. And then let's see how hard it is to get the cowl off real quick. So let's see, because there's a little hook there. Let's see, how do we? It's just plug. Yeah, there we go. It just plugs right in there. So you got the little plug right there. Actually, before we plug the other cape in, let's do this cowl, this little neck piece where he doesn't have a cape, so we can kind of look at those joints, those upper joints a little bit better. That's a good Batman look for it. But see, all the way around, you know, good detail on the back muscles there. We got the butterfly, so you can kind of bring his arms all the way in like that. Really good. And then shoulders, you know, when you got them rotating up, so you can do a good Batman cape spread dive pose, like so, kind of thing like that. So let's pop on the other cape real quick, see how that looks. Which I think I'm going to go for the more comic book, in the comic book story look to it for display purposes. I will be taking multiple pictures of all the head. I mean, I'll do one with the swimming head. I'm gonna call it the swimming head, the underwater head. I'll do one with that. Now here he is, more your 80s, 90s style Batman. Really like that figure right there. So nice. I've been waiting to get this figure for a while now, since they announced it. And it's kind of like they just announced Hush Tim Drake. And it's kind of like, what do I want? Do I want to wait and see if they do like a classic 90s Tim Drake? Or do I want to get the Hush one just to kind of like cover my bases so I have one? Because I did get the Hush Nightwing and such. But yeah, let's cut and do a quick comparison real quick. Here we'll do some comparisons with him and Azrael. They stand about the same. Can't wait to have these two face off in some photos right there. Both got the wired cape. The blues are really close, so we got the cool Batman look. We got the grays and everything like that. And then of course, the man we need to compare him to, Bane. And look how much taller this Bane stands. Got the feet level right there. Just massive and scary looking. Like, of course, I'm going to be doing the broken bat picture with him holding Batman over his head and then boom, crushing over his knee. I'll be taking some photos of that very, very soon. Again, follow me on Instagram in the description to see those posts. But yeah, once again, Mafex is just knocked out of the park. I gotta say, so I've never gotten any of their Marvel stuff. Like, I just have the Hush Batman, Hush Nightwing, and then these three figures. That's all I have for. Oh, and I do have. He's put away right now, but I do have the Dark Knight Rises, or Dark Knight. Dark Knight, not Dark Knight Rises. Christian Bale Batman figure, really good figure too. So those are all my Mafex figures have been Bat families, and I gotta say these are easily, my favorite Batman figures going. They have all the mobility and articulation you want, and they're just so comic accurate. Like, this figure, honestly, like the video, me talking does not do it justice, because I know when I had this on pre-order, I was kind of getting not necessarily buyer's remorse, but second thoughts. I was like, well, I've got the Hush Batman. That's a really good Batman. That can kind of fill in for this, because the pictures just don't do this justice. Like, they really don't. You have to. This is one of those figures you have to get in hand. Like the Azrael Batman. This thing looks great in photos. This thing looks even better in person. And same with Bane. Like, again, photos and video looks great in person. But I will say, this Batman, you really need it in your hands to really appreciate the sculpt, because the bat symbol sculpted in there. You've got all the muscles. The bat belt looks great. And I will say, in photos, he kind of looked too thin in a sense. But no, he looks how he does in the comic books, and I think it's a phenomenal figure. And it's going to be, depending on where you find it, going between like $100 and $115. So it's a high-end figure. It's one of those you gotta really want it. I think, honestly, is any figure worth $100? I don't know, but this might be my favorite Batman figure, like just straight up Batman figure. This might be my favorite Batman figure. This is, recency bias and things like that. But I really like it. Like I said, I got this from Nerdzoic. I got it from his shop. I think it's still available there. At least as of filming, it's still available there. And I think you can get it still from Entertainment Earth. I think Big Bad sold out, so I don't think you can get it from there. So see if you can get it if you really want it. They did the reissue. I was hoping they would when I couldn't get it new. In fact, when I was in Japan, I was looking for this and I could not find. I found Bane, could not find Asbat. I could find Bane. I could find other Mafex Batman figures, but not this one. So I was very disappointed in Japan, because I was hoping, because it being an import, it would have been a little bit cheaper had I found it in Japan. But no luck there. But I'm glad I was able to get a reissue here in the States. I'm super excited to take some photos with this and post it on my detail, which is right there that you can't see on camera, to go with kind of like my DC default. Let me see. Let me turn it a little. See, there you go. You can see Hush Batman. You can see Hush Nightwing. You got Christopher Reeve's Mezco Superman right there. Batman Laserdisc, Fortress of Solitude, and just a Mattel Wonder Woman right there to complete the Trinity. So, yep. So I'm gonna definitely give this, if you love Batman and you like the Medicom Mafex figures, especially if you like this era of Batman, I think this is a must buy. I normally like to rip off Secret Galaxy and say if you see one, get it. If you see two, leave one for the next collector. You're probably not going to see two on there, and I don't know what psychopath is going to want to buy two of these figures in order to fill out their shelf, because though this is probably worth a little bit more than retail now, but definitely pick this one up if you're a Batman fan, especially of this era. And if you've already got Bane and Azrael Batman, you might as well complete the set at this point. Am I right? So, must buy. And as always, thank you for watching this video game channel that does toy reviews every once in a while. If you like what you saw here, go ahead and give me a subscribe, give me a like. Really appreciate that. And apparently there's something called hypes on YouTube now. So I don't know if I've gotten a hype. I don't even know what a hype is. But if you want to throw a hype out to me, that's appreciated too. I appreciate any kind of good vibes. We talked about the plateauing of the channel with the recent changes in August. I don't know if I've done something different, if YouTube's done something different, but we have started picking up steam again, and we've got some more subscribers over the past couple weeks. So I definitely appreciate that from everybody, new and old subscribers. I definitely appreciate you going along on this journey with me. And as always, I will see you in that next video. Bye now.